Hello friends, welcome to Science Fanatics. In this video session, we are going to discuss about the very first chapter, that is chemical reactions and equations. When we talk about the chemical reactions, we can come across so many activities we could come across in everyday life. Example like curdling of milk, rusting of iron, fermentation of the grapes, cooking of food, digestion of food in our body, respiration which happens in our body, everything includes in the chemical reactions. When we talk about the chemical reactions, the nature and identity of the elements or the substance varies at the end of the chemical reactions. So if you wanted to just go a little bit deep into it, we have to recapitulate that the physical change and chemical change. Physical change means when there is a changes in the physical properties, that is physical change. When there is a changes in the chemical property, that is called as chemical change. Most of the physical changes are reversible. All the chemical reactions are irreversible. In the physical change, there is no possibility of getting the new product. There is no possibility of getting the new product in the physical change. But if you observe that the chemical change, every time at the end of the reaction, we usually get the new product. Now let us have a few examples for physical change and chemical change. So now we have the butter which is in the solid state. After heating, the butter started to melt. It changes into liquid state. Even though there is a changes in the state, but butter is butter only. We are not getting any new product. So it is a physical change. The same thing, ice cubes, once you are just to keep it at the room temperature for a while, it started to melt. Once it is melted, it changes from solid state to liquid state. But whatever the content in the ice cube, H2O, the same thing you can observe in the water also. So it is a physical change only. But if you observe that the chemical change means, I just wanted to give one example as nail. So if you take the nail and you just leave it quite long time outside, then what happens, you can see that the brown layer usually forms over the nail. That is nothing but rusting. How does it forms? When you just keep the nail outside for a quite long time, it started to react with the water which is present in the atmosphere, and then it just forms the rusting. So rusting is a new product, so it is included in the chemical change. Now we can take that wheat dough. After baking it, we are getting the bread. So bread is completely different from the dough. So we are getting the new product. It includes in the chemical change. Now we are moving on to some other chemical reactions to understand it in the better way. Now we are having for these reactions, we need that the magnesium ribbon, holder, burner, watch glass, as well as we need that the sandpaper. So magnesium ribbon which is about 3 to 4 centimeter length, and at the same time, before we are just trying to burn the magnesium ribbon, it will be better to scrub it on the sandpaper to remove the magnesium oxide layer which is formed when the magnesium ribbon react with the oxygen which is present in the atmosphere. So why should we remove the magnesium oxide which is present over the magnesium ribbon? Means because it prevents the reactivity of the magnesium ribbon. After scrubbing it, we are going to burn it by using the Bunsen burner. Then we are getting the new product in the form of ash, and the ash is white powder like a structure. It is nothing but magnesium oxide. The next one, we are going to see that another chemical reaction. We have to take the zinc granules in the beaker. Along with that, we are going to add the dilute sulfuric acid. Once you add the dilute sulfuric acid, the hydrogen gas started to evolve from the mixture. So here, and at the same time we are getting the zinc sulfate also. As long as we are getting the new product, it includes in the chemical reaction. Now, as we just gone through so many examples, we could observe some of the things to determine whether the reaction is a chemical reaction, like a change in state, change in color, evolution of a gas, change in temperature. These are all the criteria we could understand in a better way the chemical reaction is taking place. Now we are moving on to the chemical equations. You can ask me, what is the purpose of writing chemical equations means? If you wanted to describe the chemical reactions, the chemical equation is the best way to represent it. If you just wanted to write it in a sentence, or if you wanted to write it in like a 3 or 4 lines, something like that, it is very difficult to understand by someone, and at the same time it is time consuming also. So we can follow that the simplest form as long as it is available to us. There are two simplest forms. The first one is the word equation, another one is the chemical equation. Word equation means simply we are going to use the words which are involving in the chemical reaction, and chemical equations means we are going to use the chemical formula of the substances or an element. Now word equation, we are just going to have that the chemical reaction of magnesium and oxygen react together and we are getting the magnesium oxide. That is the chemical reaction. We are going to talk about it to write the word equation. So magnesium and oxygen, both of them are called as reactants as long as they are involving in the chemical reactions. Magnesium oxide we are getting as a new product at the end of the chemical reaction, and we should call it as a product. So reactant must be write it in the left hand side, and product must be write it in the right hand side. The reactant and the product must be separated by a arrow mark. That is the head of the arrow mark should always face us towards the product side. And at the same time, the direction of the arrow also shows the direction of the chemical reaction. When we are using more than one reactant, it must be split by the plus symbol. Even the product, if we are getting more than one product, it must be split by the plus symbol. So these are all the rules of the word equation. Now we are moving on to that chemical equations. Chemical equations means instead of using the words, we are using the chemical formula of the substances or an element. So magnesium chemical formula Mg, oxygen O2. At the end of that chemical reaction, we are getting magnesium oxide. The formula of the magnesium oxide is MgO. So here if you observe that the reactants must be in the left hand side, and product must be in the right hand side. As I said in the word equation, the same thing here we are going to follow. Both of the reactants and the product are separated by the arrow. The head of the arrow always shows towards the product side. Even the direction of the arrow also shows that the direction of the chemical reaction also. So these are all the things whatever we have discussed in the word equation, the same thing we are supposed to follow. The one important thing you should follow in the chemical equation. For that, first of all, you have to count and compare the number of the atoms of each element of the reactants with the total number of the atoms of the element or the substance in the product side. So if it is not there, what should we call? We are supposed to call this equation as the unbalanced equation or skeletal chemical equation. So you can ask me, is it necessary to balance the equation? Of course, it is must. According to the law of conservation of mass, we cannot create or destroy the mass of any substances or any element. So we are supposed to balance the equation. And at the same time, when you are trying to balance the equation, you are not supposed to alter the chemical formula. You are just supposed to use the coefficient number. For example, I'm just going to show you here. So Mg here, in the reactant side, we have one magnesium atom, and oxygen we have two atoms. But in the product side, if you see, only one magnesium atom, but oxygen is only one. So it is unbalanced way. So how could we can balance? Means it will be better to keep that the coefficient in front of the chemical formula. So if you just put 2 Mg, means here you have to put 2 MgO in the product side. So 2 magnesium atoms here, 2 magnesium atoms. So here 2 oxygen atoms and here 2 oxygen atoms. So now it is the balanced equation. Now we are moving on to that. I just wanted to give one more example for that. So now we are going to have that iron plus water gives rise. When iron and react with the water, we are getting ferric oxide Fe3O4, and hydrogen we are getting it. So this is the skeletal chemical equation or unbalanced equation. So here if you observe that here iron is only 1, in the reactant side is iron is only 1, and hydrogen is 2 and oxygen is 1. In the product side, iron is 3, and then I am just going to say here iron is Fe plus H2O gives rise, and then we are getting Fe3O4 plus H2. So if you observe that here, means in the reactant side we are getting only one iron, and then hydrogen is 2, oxygen is 1. In the product side, iron is 3, hydrogen is 2, but oxygen is 4 here. So whenever you wanted to solve that, whenever you wanted to balance the equation, first of all it will be better to look into that the element or the substance which have that high number of atoms. So we are just moving on to that the oxygen. Oxygen has only one. Now I am going to put that coefficient number here. And then iron is 3 here, so I am going to put 3 here. So now it is both of them all balanced here. What about the hydrogen? Hydrogen here 8, but here only 2. So I am just going to, now it is the balanced equation. So these things you are supposed to remember. Now we are moving on to the types of chemical reactions. So when we talk about the types of chemical reactions, we have different types of the chemical reactions: combinations reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, neutralization reaction, exothermic endothermic reactions, and oxidation reduction reactions. So we are going to discuss about all these chemical reactions together in this session. So please focus in this one. It's very important. So combination reactions means here are 2 or more reactants combined to form a single product. That is called as combination reactions. So I can just explain it in the simple formula. Here 2 reactants A and B. So together we are getting a single product AB. For example, magnesium is burnt in air. We are getting that the magnesium oxide. So magnesium is a one reactant, oxygen is another reactant. So 2 reactants are involving in the chemical reaction, but we are getting that only one product as MgO. Another example I can give you: carbon plus oxygen. 2 reactants involving, and they are giving carbon dioxide. So only one product we are getting it. In the combination reaction, the heat will be released, and at the same time, as long as the heat is released, it is included in the exothermic reactions. Let's move on to that. Decomposition reaction. Decomposition reaction just opposite to that of combination reaction. Here only one compound involves in the chemical reaction. That means it acts as a reactant and it decomposes, or it just break into 2 or more compounds or elements as a product. That is called as a decomposition reaction. So here only one compound AB acts as a reactant, and it gives more than one compound. It gives more than one compound, like A and B we are getting, A plus B we are getting it. Example, I can give calcium carbonate. When it is heated, it decomposes into calcium. It just breaks into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Even ferric oxide, when it gets heated up, we are getting what? Ferric hydroxide, when it gets heated up, it decomposed into ferric oxide and water. Friends, one thing you have to remember, in decomposition reaction, the heat is observed. So it is the example of the endothermic reaction. That's what I told. Combination reaction and decomposition reaction are just opposite to each other. In combination reaction, heat is released. Decomposition reaction, heat is observed. So that the decomposition reaction is included in the endothermic reaction, and combination reaction is included in the exothermic reactions. Next one, in the decomposition process itself, we have different types. Thermal decomposition means while we are using the burning process or a fire, something like that, means then it includes in the thermal decomposition. For heating energy, if we are using that the electricity, that is included in the electrolytic decomposition. If we are using that the sunlight as a heat energy, that includes in the photolysis or photo decomposition reaction. I just wanted to give an example here. Lead nitrate, once it gets heated up, we are getting lead oxide, nitrous dioxide and oxygen. In the electrolytic decomposition, when we passes that the electricity in the water, it breaks down into hydrogen and water. Very good example of photolysis or photo decomposition is like barium chloride, silver chloride. These are all the very good examples. When we just expose that the silver chloride in the sunlight, so it just break down into silver and chlorine. Even in same thing it happens in the barium chloride. When it is exposed to the sunlight, it split into barium and chloride. So this silver chloride and barium chloride and all, it is helpful in the photography area. Now we are moving on to the displacement reaction. In the displacement reactions, the more reactive element always displaces or replaces the less reactive element to form a compound. That is called as displacement reaction. I can give you one example here. A plus BC gives rise AC plus BC. Here A is more active than the B, so it just replaces the B and forms AC, and then separately you can see that the B. So you can ask me, if B is more reactive, what will happen? If B is more reactive, then you cannot find any displacement reaction here. So now I am going to give you the examples here. When the zinc react with the hydrochloric acid, so now that hydrogen is replaced by the zinc, as long as the zinc is more reactive than the hydrogen. So we are getting zinc chloride and hydrogen gases evolved. The same thing, zinc, when it reacts with the copper sulfate, the copper is replaced by the zinc, as long as the zinc is more reactive than the copper. So we are getting zinc sulfate and the copper metal we are getting it. Now in the displacement reactions, again we are going to see the double displacement reaction. In these reactions, the ions are exchanged in between the reactants and forming the new compounds. For example, AB plus CD. So this is one reactant and this is another reactant. So once they are reacting together, so they are exchanging their ions in between them. A combines with C, B combines with D. So we are getting that the product as AC plus BD. So I can give you the example like a barium chloride reacts with the solution of sodium sulfate. White precipitate will form. Precipitate means it is nothing but like coarse powder. So barium sulfate is formed along with the sodium chloride. So here you can see that the barium combines with the sulfate here, and sodium combines with the chlorine here. So we are getting you can easily find out with the help of the chemical equation, you can easily find out how the exchange of ions are happening in between the reactants. The another example I just wanted to give you, sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. So sodium combines with the chlorine and forms the sodium chloride, and this hydrogen which is present in the hydrochloric acid combines with the OH ions and forms the water. So double displacement reactions, you can see the formation of the precipitate, that is also included in the precipitation reaction. Even neutralization reactions also an example of the double displacement reaction. So I'm going to give that the exact definition of the precipitation reaction. In the precipitated reaction, there will be the mixing up of the aqueous solution of the two salts. Then we can call it as precipitation reaction. Neutralization reactions means in which the acid reacts with the base to form a salt as well as water at the end of the chemical reaction. Now I'm going to give the examples of the precipitation reaction. Silver nitrate plus sodium chloride, we are getting silver chloride and sodium nitrate. So we are getting that the silver chloride as a precipitate, so it is included in the precipitation reaction. But when it comes to the point of neutralization reaction, already I told you the acid and the base, they react together, and you can see that there is a formation of the salt and the water at the end of the reaction. So NaOH is the base and HCl is the acid. So NaCl, salt is formed and water is released here. So now we are going to see the oxidation reaction and reduction reaction. It's very simple. Oxidation means adding of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. Reduction reaction means addition of hydrogen and removal of oxygen. So oxidizing agent means the substance which gives oxygen for the oxidation, that is called as oxidizing agent. The substance which removes hydrogen is called as oxidizing agent. So reducing agent means we can call it as the substance which gives hydrogen for the reduction is called reducing agent, or the substance which removes oxygen is called reducing agent. So if in any other chemical reactions oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously, we can call that one a redox reaction. I can give you one example here. Copper oxide reacts with the hydrogen, we can get copper and water. Here what happens means, as long as in this reaction copper oxide change into copper, oxygen is being removed from the copper oxide. So removal of oxygen from the substance is called as what? Reduction. So copper oxide is being reduced to copper. Again here what happens, the hydrogen, it's getting that adding of the oxygen over there, so we can call it as the oxidation process. So oxidation and reduction, both of them happen simultaneously, we can call them as redox reaction. So the one more thing already I told you, exothermic endothermic reaction also included. Exothermic reaction means releasing of the heat, and endothermic reaction means absorption of the heat. So already we have discussed all those things. So the next time we are going to meet with another important topic. Thank you.